Boys of the chat. I do a lot of like womansplaining, as you know. I try to, for the sake of improving relationships between men and women, do my best to give like a woman's take on what I've come to understand explains certain male behaviors or social phenomenon. I've done my best to try to charitably understand, but I'm gonna need a few more male opinions because I've only ever in my life been socialized as a woman, and so therefore there are parts of the socialized male experience that I will never know. Certain forms of humor, of locker room talk, some might say. This is posted to the subreddit Am I Overreacting? What y'all might think about this, what you do think about this, let's just jump right into it. Am I overreacting? I, a 25-year-old female, think that my 33-year-old male boyfriend is lying to me and is gay with his best friend. We are set to get married soon. We've been together for 3 years. We have great sex. He tells me he loves me. He wants kids. And he tells me it's just a joke and they do this because it's funny. His best friend, we'll call him Tyler for the sake of the post, and him talk sexually to each other all the time. I've seen this over his shoulder, text saying things like, "I'ma pound your ass so hard it's gonna hurt to walk days after." And I have seen photos of both of them sending pictures of their dicks. I was snooping last night. Here we go. The pros and cons of snooping. I was snooping last night. I know I shouldn't, but Tyler sent my fiance a photo of his boner a couple days ago. And my fiance said, "Nice dick, bro." And things like, "Too bad I'm not gay or I'd suck that hog." You see why I'm torn on this one, you guys? Like, it's right in between absolute 4chan humor and soft launching one of the most, pun intended, hog wild homoerotic love affairs of their lives. The woman, I have nicked myself or gotten irritated skin from shaving so many times in some of the most uncomfortable places that you can imagine, but unlike men, luckily those places are usually not my face. And it's so embarrassing when your legs are all like red and bumpy, but at least I can put on pants. I always wondered what guys do when that happens to your face. Well, now I do know, thanks to today's sponsor, Henson. Henson went ahead and hired the expert engineers and machinists in aerospace technology to bring us a new aluminum razor designed with medical backing to significantly lower your erythemic response, or in layman's terms, to avoid embarrassing razor burn on your face, buddy. See, most men are still using plastic razors, which will give you a smooth shave, but according to the data, is leaving 2 out of 3 of you with some kind of irritation after the fact. These things are made of the same stuff they built the Mars rover with, so you know can handle your hot surface. Go to hensonshaving.com/dadvocate and use code DADVOCATE on your purchase of a razor to get a free bottle of Henson's new shaving cream. Just don't forget to add it to your cart. You know, I had a pun that I wanted to end this ad on, but I'll shave it for later. Alright, let's get back to the video. Like, it almost seems like they're joking, but sending actual pictures of their dicks. And it's also like the difference between sending a flaccid picture and sending an erect member. There's a pretty big difference. Like, I've told a story before about one time that I accidentally got a funny dick pic from a friend. Like, it ended up being absolutely hilarious. I was at work. I was a waitress at the time, and I like very briefly caught a glimpse of what I thought to be my friend holding a baby bunny. And I'm like, whatever, I'll look at that later. But then when I go and check my text later, he's like, please, for the love of God, like, I just sent you a wall of text, just delete this entire thread because I accidentally sent you a dick pic earlier. And I did. I never saw what the imaginably flaccid penis looked like. He was like, I was trying to send my girlfriend a picture of a rash that I had that I was concerned about. So if you do scroll up, you will see a flaccid dick with a rash, but please don't. can't get mad about that. Like, he seemed to do everything right after sending me his cute, rashy, bunny dick. Like, he seemed to do everything right. You know what I mean? There was no, like, ill-intentioned anything. And the fact that it was flaccid, too, like, from at least what he says, I did not fact check. It just, like, it really takes a lot of the punch out of it. But, like, if he sent, like, a fully, like, ready to go little soldier, he would have a much harder time explaining that away. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, a much harder time with the whole, like, oh, I was just trying to get a medical diagnosis. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would have a completely different meaning. Talking like this regularly. Am I overreacting? Please help. We are set to get married soon, and I'm worried he's cheating on me with Tyler. Edit. I don't have a problem with him being gay. I have a problem with him cheating on me. Update. I'm going to play it cool for a couple days and just keep an eye on the behavior. Tyler is coming over to hang out this coming Tuesday afternoon, and I might say something to gauge their reaction. Not sure what yet, but something to see if they look at each other weird or something. You know, I think I'll just drop something casual like, God, it's so weird for guys to send each other pictures of their dicks. Do you think that would have worked? Or do you think that they would, like, do a quick giveaway? Like, I do have to say, like, how you react to that would kind of give you your answer. You know what I mean? Like, if you say something like, you're hanging out with your man and with Tyler, and you're like, it honestly creeps me out and grosses me out and makes me, like, really concerned and thinking about ending my marriage when, like, thinking about, like, a guy sending a picture of his dick to someone else. And, like, really think about that. If they gave each other the side eye, they might be gay, but if they do bust out laughing, like, you have your answer. They honestly think it's hilarious. Okay, in this update, we are set to get married soon. This is the update. Wow, I'll start with that. I didn't say anything when we were together. I was full of anxiety and all in my head, and I just couldn't do it. I don't blame you. This is a very weird thing to bring up. I brought it up this morning before he left for work. I said something to the nature of, I looked at your phone and would love to know why you two are sexting with each other. I'm not comfortable with it, and we need to talk about this. Are you gay or... He responds by literally bursting out laughing as I'm tearing up asking this. Okay, so the guy's empathy gauge is a little low. Maybe he thought, like, that it would kind of ease the tension a little bit if he laughed. Like I said earlier, busting out laughing is kind of a good indicator that he is straight and just has a up sense of humor. Like, I will say I use my humor to deal with almost everything in life as well. You know what I mean? But, like, if someone is, like, genuinely upset and, like, expressing deep concerns, I don't know if I would laugh in their face unless I thought it was, like, so absurd. But it's also, like, it's a little bit unintentionally maybe, but, like, a little bit gaslighty to act like it's absurd to be concerned that you're gay when you're sending those kinds of messages. Like, you can't see where she's coming from a little bit. He says this is all a big joke. He says that this whole thing started because they were making fun of homophobes and people who are insecure with their sexuality, and it went from jokes to full-on dick pics. He said they talk about how it's so funny that seeing a dick makes you gay, or people find it gross, when in fact it's no different than a picture of an ear or a hand. It is very different than a picture of an ear or a hand, and that is why no one gets charged with sexual assault when they send people an unsolicited picture of an ear or a hand, sir. I believe you when you say that it was meant as a joke, but also, this is antisocial, cringy behavior. This is, like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna drag my mom a little bit here. She don't watch this shit. She's at school right now. Okay, I'm gonna get away with it. But my mom pulls this shit whenever she wants to talk about boning my dad. She'll be like, well, I just think people really need to normalize talking about sex because we all talk about sex. And I'm like, yeah, but that's my dad. Like, I'm sorry, but there is a difference between, like, you being a progressive, non-homophobic guy, which is great, and you sending pictures while you're rock hard to anybody but your fiance. Like, I'm sorry, there's a time and a place. There's a line. There are reasons that things are weird. There are reasons that things are taboo. We don't have to normalize everything, okay? He says, it's a big inside joke because straight men are not supposed to act like this, and people who think that makes you gay or weird are just insecure and childish. Yeah, I'm not insecure and childish for constantly telling my best friend that I'm going to pound his butt cheeks with my big hog. You're insecure and childish for thinking that it's weird. Maybe you're homophobic, actually. Maybe you're homophobic for not letting your husband pound butt cheeks with his best friend. You ever think about that? You close-minded fascist. I don't know about this one, buddy. I'm like, it's pretty hard to offend me. I'm all for like raunchy humor and stuff, but like, my guy. He says that it started with sending pictures of other dudes' dicks from the internet and eventually led to them sending their own because of the shock value. I love that we can just use that excuse for anything. Like when she finds out that her STD panel is just ridden with AIDS, it can be just for the shock value. I gave you AIDS for the shock value, babe. Isn't it funny? When he like blows all their savings on a gambling addiction, he did it for the lulz. He did it just to be a silly lol cow, and you just don't get bro humor. Like, how far do we take this? Am I overreacting? I literally do not know what to think about this. I told him to stop it now, and he said he would respect that and not do it anymore, but also said I need to chill and doesn't like that I looked at his and then it dies because it's a locked phone, but he doesn't like that I looked at his phone. I think they're both kind of right here. Like I said, I'm willing to believe him that he doesn't actually want to do gay stuff with his best friend. Maybe he just has a super dark sense of humor. Maybe. And I will level with him that he has a right to be upset that his things were gone through without his consent. Not sure being straight makes you homophobic. No, it does. And a fascist. No, I'm just kidding. but I'm getting that, like, that he has a valid excuse to be upset about what he deems to be, you know, potentially an invasion of his privacy, but it's also like acting like she is the one without a sense of humor and not acknowledging that his sense of humor is at the very least an acquired taste to be as charitable as possible, but in other words is cringe low tier 4chan humor. Like, this is like brain rot sense of humor, my guy. Like, at least admit that, and at least admit I get why you would be concerned. But to like be gaslighting her as if like, dude, you're crazy for even being upset about this. Like, come on, dude. All it is me explicitly and in very many sexual details describing how I would. Dude, this is like when O.J. Simpson wrote the "If I Did Kill Her, How I Would Have Done It" book. This is the same mental equivalent. You know what? I'm gonna reel it back on believing that you're straight, actually. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay. I sent this to my soon-to-be wife to post for me. Oh, we got a direct vantage point from the eyes of our homosexual, hetero-passing icon himself. What do you have to say for yourself, you boner-sending heathen? You absolute degenerate. We had a heartfelt and serious discussion about what she's been thinking, and then she told me about her Reddit posts. I will be honest, I have shared these with Tyler, and we find this all super hilarious. Well, I'm glad that you and your homosexual lover are loving it. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying your fiancé's pain and anguish and anxiety ridden sleepless nights. I'm glad that you and your booty baron are having a good chuckle about this. as well as my fiance, now that she understands. Did they always, I'm sorry, but like whenever people do really unchill shit and get busted for it, they always, whenever they get a turn to tell their side, they always come out and go, they have laughed about it so much. Like, you and I never see it. The other person never says that they've laughed about it. But whenever the other person gets a chance to talk, they're always like, they're laughing about it. They think I'm hilarious, okay? All three of us hung out a few days ago and talked about it, and we shared a good laugh. Why is it that now when I imagine you all three hanging out, I imagine that scene from Parks and Recreation when April is like, yeah, this is my boyfriend, and this is my boyfriend's boyfriend. That's all I can think now. Conclusion, our sense of humors are much more developed than your average Redditor. Oh, brother! God! We were talking about the Rick and Morty fan base yesterday, and this guy is that exact type of Pickle Rick bro who's like, you guys just don't understand how elevated the jokes really are. Like, I get that you're laughing at them, but me and my friends laugh at them for a much more developed, some might say academia level reason. Ours are almost Socratic interpretations of Pickle Rick and other cartoons, quite frankly. When we send our boners to each other and talk about how we want to squeeze those cheeks apart like we're checking a McDouble for pickles, we do it as a societal statement to break through the gender norms. And really, what we're doing is fighting for feminism. That's right. You woman, you wouldn't even have your rights if I did not tell Tyler how bad I just wanted to pop his member into my mouth and find out how many licks it takes to get to the center of his Tootsie Pop. Okay? It's a real fight on behalf of our American people and our freedoms and liberties, and I will not have you stand me when I gaslight into the shadow realm. Ooh, it scares me how good I am at being a gaslighting, manipulative, gay, hetero passing husband with a beard. Jesus. A lot of people said gay humor between straight men is normal, but Snapchatting a picture of your hard rooster when they're not expecting it is too far and not funny. This reminds me of is this actually what's his name? The Twitch guy who just got canceled. I just covered him. Dr. Disrespect. Is this actually Dr. Disrespect? Because he is typing the exact same way as Dr. Disrespect did when he got caught sexting a minor. When he was like, you guys don't even understand. I'm going to come out the other end of this so much more successful than all of you. People on these posts are the ones making it sexual. Not us. Yeah, there's literally nothing sexual about a hard boner. You guys are making it weird, okay? Literally nothing sexual. Nothing sexual about it. Like, okay, then riddle me this, Batman. How is it that the shock value of the potent sexual nature of it is the crux of the humor, but simultaneously also has nothing to do with it? If this woman does not run, do not walk out of this one. Like, for me, it's not about the dick pics anymore. It's not even about the dick pics, because this could have been forgivable. Where we are now entering unforgivable territory is the repetitive gaslighting, minimization, downplaying of her intelligence, and egotistical, narcissistic representation of his own. So, I want you to imagine, we're hanging out, and you, like, look over my shoulder, like, not for any, like, nefarious purpose or anything, but, like, when you look over, you see me aggressively sexting Eilish. Like, I am saying things like, I cannot wait to, like,
I think
finger
I've heard this
blast.
story. Is this the one about the two guys who, like, yeah, no, I heard somebody talk about this for sure. I think it's weird as shit.
It might have even been me. I might have spoiled it for myself.
I'm not sure. It might have been you, but I think it was actually, I can't remember if it was you or just, like, part of my algorithm where somebody was like, am I the only one who thinks this is weird? Or...
And it's like, and then, like, and we start, like, sending each other, like, pictures, and so you're eventually like,
look, he's got his
what?
tummy.
While I'm literally petting a pussy. And I'm like, it's literally for the lulz.
I guess to me, it's like, I don't think it's just for the lulz. I'd be like, maybe we need to talk about this a little more. But
like, if I, like, instantly agreed to stop, and I'm like, I'll stop. Like, and immediately, but then I, like, also, but you're weird for not getting that it's funny.
No, I think it's, like, the closest that I think I've ever heard guys getting that I know is, like, sending each other, like, impressive poops that have been taken. Like, guys, look at this.
Yeah, that's...
It's a 2-foot log, and people would be like, whoa, but I've never...
And you have to, like, you still, in my opinion, and I'm not a guy, I feel like you have to know that they would be receptive to seeing a picture of your shit. You can't just hit anybody.
I mean, not anybody. No, you got to send it to, like, the guys. You got to send it to, like, your friends.
Yeah, poop is not sexual. No. He was trying to argue with her that it's not sexual.
No, it's weird.
But it's like, he's not just sending, like, this is what I said was different. He's not just sending the flaccid wiener.
Right, he's sending, like,
the full 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, oh. But someone else brought up a good point that, like, this could be an effect of the male loneliness epidemic and the compliment gap, because men are, like, getting so few compliments from women that they're just, like, relying on each other for superficial hog boosting.
Maybe. I mean, hell, if that's what it is.
Superficial hog boosting. The shit that just comes out of my mouth, dude. Today I need you all to go out there and superficially boost your boy's hog to make America great again.
Oh, God.
Did we watch the video that I sent you in the email? No, not yet. I was gonna let everybody vote after this story. Can you get your butthole off camera, Mochi?
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's super weird.
You know what? I think we can conclusively agree, while we're not sure if he's gay or not, and we're not even done with it yet, it is weird, for sure. But I want to read the rest of what this chuckle has to say. The booty baron, as I shall be calling him from henceforth. Honestly, if bro ever found this channel and saw this video and heard me referring to him as the booty baron, you know that that's immediately what he would be saved in Tyler's phone as, and they would call each other nothing else but the booty baron and the pillaging. Anyway, you're the ones making it sexual, not us. We just find it hilarious because it's unexpected and shocking, and people's reactions when we tell them we do this, like all of yours, is funny as to us. This is not a secret among our group of guy friends, and a handful of other dudes have seen our dicks besides just us two. It's not weird, okay? It's not like it's just us. I send my dick to tons of men. I show my boner to tons of guys, so it's not gay, okay? After my conversation with my fiance and Tyler, we agreed we wouldn't behave like this anymore if it made her uncomfortable. There's nothing wrong with being gay if either of us was gay. We wouldn't have a problem with that or keep it a secret. It's not our fault. We've unlocked peak humor, and y'all are projecting your perception of sexuality or insecurities onto the situation. Bro has definitely gone to therapy for the express purpose of attaining weapons and not self-improvement tools. Like, bro definitely, like, goes and learns as many rhetoric tools as he possibly can to gaslight the out of other people. Like, he will behave in potently problematic ways, which he admits he does on purpose. He pretty much just said, I'm a f***ing troll. He just said, me and my best friend find joy in antagonizing and getting a rise out of people on purpose. You know, like people who spent their formative years on troll forums. We live in a pretty homophobic world. It's the rest of the world that's the problem. I'm just fighting against it. I'm pretty much a hero. I'm Batman. And I'm sure a lot of the men in these threads got bullied and called gay when they were in school growing up. I send my dicks to prevent bullying. I send my dick to as many men as I can to stop and end bullying once and for all. God, he's a legend. Got called gay when you were in school growing up. Your fear of people thinking you're gay is not my problem or has anything to do with my life. It's perfectly okay if you wouldn't send a photo of your cock to one of your friends, but if my bud Tyler wants to hit one of our bros with a dick pic randomly every 6 months when they're least expecting it and everyone involved just finds it funny, then who gives a f***? It's not his fault you have a weak sense of humor. Isn't that like a pretty common like manipulation tool? Isn't this like just another version of the like, whatever, you're too ugly for me anyway. You're too weak to handle pictures of my unsolicited dick. You don't have the mental fortitude to handle my unsolicited rooster. If you see a penis and think of it as inherently sexual, that says more about you than it does us, buddy. Yeah, you're just telling on yourself when you get mad about it. To answer a lot of people's questions, no, I would not care if my fiancé sent a picture of her vagina to one of her girlfriends as a joke. Literally wouldn't bother me in the slightest. If it bothers you, that's on you. Yeah, but this is the problem with the logical fallacy of personal incredulity, which is the whole argument of, well, it's never happened to me, so it's never happened. Or, well, I personally wouldn't do that, so that must mean no one could ever do it. Is that like surely you see why that falls into the fallacy camp. Like why when you try to use that, it doesn't actually logically have any follow through. You know, it's the same as like people who are like, well, I don't mind people coming over to my house whenever they want to, so I'm just gonna show up at other people's houses whenever I want to. Like, it's great if that's the kind of person you are. But surely you can understand that not everybody is like that. Especially when, like, I cannot stress enough, OP understands why this is funny. The whole reason that he even finds this funny is because so many other people do not find it funny. The joke would have none of its punch and none of its shock value if everyone had attained peak humor as he did. His peak humor only exists because there is a baseline of normal and socially accepted humor. He doesn't even understand that. He wants to be this like overinflated Rick and Morty genius. I also saw a woman in one of the threads who said she'd divorce her husband because he wanted to get pegged because that's gay. Okay, well, I'm actually gonna give it to him there. Hot take here. I didn't think we would be getting into this territory. Hot take, I don't think that getting pegged is gay necessarily. If you don't know what getting pegged is, it's when someone who doesn't ordinarily have a tool with which to put in the booty obtains something in order to stimulate the nerves that only men have in the prostate area to attain a sense of gratification, to put it lightly. And so like if like just liking the feeling that is there naturally and allowing a woman to give it to you isn't gay. At that point, it's like, is it gay to have sex with my wife, fellas? You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily think that's gay, but like, if you want it to be connected to a man's body, especially if you wouldn't mind like bonding on a deeper romantic level with that man, kind of like a best friendship. Like I said, that's just my personal hot take, but at the same time, you know, I don't know, you are allowed to divorce for whatever reason you want if it's a no fault state, which is 1/3 of them. Obviously, the understanding of sexuality in this community is limited. or just subjective. A man and a woman engaging in a sex act is not gay in any capacity. Homosexuality is when two men engage in sexual or romantic behavior, that's it. So you've just engaged in homosexuality. Guys, there seems to be a limited understanding here, okay? Being gay is when you tell your best friend that you want to him and then send pictures of your hard dick. Okay? Wait. It reminds me of like that old Ron White joke when he like tricks the guy into admitting that when he watches his corn, he likes the man to be well endowed. Like, you just played yourself, buddy. Do people send dick pics in sexual capacity? Obviously. Sometimes it's just funny. Get over it. Sorry you're insecure about people seeing your dick. It's just a penis. It's not going to hurt you. They have the propensity to. So don't go acting like it's perfectly harmless. And that's the exact distinction, again, between a picture of an ear or a picture of an elbow and a picture of something that, if put in the wrong part of a human, will legally send you to jail without the right consent. And the fact that you have said repeatedly the words "when they least expect it" is you incriminating to sending non-consensual, unasked for photos of something that is considered sexual harassment. With great dick comes great responsibility. Don't we know it here on this channel? Okay? Sorry you're insecure about people seeing your dick. It's not gonna hurt you. This is a very weird, backwards, Puritan society we live in. After talking about with my fiance and my boyfriend together, she understands it's just a big joke to us, even though it's not her particular sense of humor. She said she doesn't know if she's okay with it, so we agreed we won't act like that anymore. Boom, problem solved. I'm gonna pick some things apart a bit here. I'm gonna be a little bit nitpicky. Do you guys notice that we went from she's not okay with it, she's not okay with it, she's not okay with it, and we just saw 2 of her posts prior to this. We know she's not okay with it. The entire conversation that she started with her fiance was potently stating, to a point that I even complimented her on her directness, that I am not comfortable with this. And now she doesn't know if she's okay with it. Do you know what that tells me? That tells me that he and Tyler tried to convince her otherwise. And do you know what that tells me? Y'all might be gay because y'all went to bat to be able to continue to exchange dick pics with each other. You wanted it. You do not want this to end for one reason or another. And you can say, I'm just a puritanical conservative with uneducated and uncultured humor. Why did she have to sit you both down to sell you on it? This shouldn't even be like an extensive conversation. You should just be like, oh shit, all right, yep, that's weird to you. It's done. I'll just let Tyler know. You don't even have to talk to Tyler. I'll handle it. She's my soulmate, and I love her very much. Everyone telling her to run away, that was me, or break up with me is a idiot projecting their own shitty relationship experiences onto us. I would love to project my relationship experiences onto you. I would love to, if I could, bless your fiance with a decade long of being with someone who is not, in fact, regularly sending pictures of their naked body to anybody. I can only hope. You know, you would be blessed for that projection, quite frankly. Mochi purring like an outboard motor. He's got them purrs. He's a happy cat. You don't know us. This is what every partner shamer says, by the way. You don't know the dynamics of my relationship or of my friendships. I do appreciate everyone who actually tried to offer thoughtful, compassionate advice that led to us communicating about this so we could move past it. For the men messaging her on here and flirting, I would like to say you took advantage of her during an emotional time, and she told me about how she played into this and will not do it again. So, you've given us something else to dissect here, Buster Brown. You got real mad at her when she went through your messages. So, how did you find out about the men messaging her on here and flirting with her? I'm curious, how did you find out? Yes, she admitted to playing into it. Did you confront her after finding them, or did she willfully show you these? I'm curious. I'm curious, right? I don't have a Reddit, but my wife will show me this post later tonight, and then we are moving on from all this bullshit. Goodbye. Yeah, as an officiant, I'm definitely not seeing this making it past the 6-month marker, to be honest. And that's being very generous. I do not advise these two even approach an altar. I think they should go return any rings they may have gotten. Farewell, Mochi. Run free into the night the way they should both, away from each other and straight to therapy, quite frankly. I think that it's time that he really just keep exploring as many levels of humor as he can with Tyler and away from women. There's one final teeny tiny last update to all of this insanity before we move on to our voting for what we'll do next portion of this. A little bit later, we get this post from this account. She says, recent issues with my fiancé, but the last few days have been amazing. I accused my fiancé of something recently, being gay with his best friend. It's a long story, but I'm not getting into it. Me when I don't realize people can view my post history. And I agree with him. I was totally overreacting. And the last few days, things have been so amazing. The sex, the princess treatment, the constant attention. I hope things stay like this, and I'll be such a happy girl. Am I childish to think it's going to stay like this forever? He is like 10 times more into me right now than he seemed before. He's gay as This is the quintessential. You know why you're getting that, right? Like the itty bitties who've been with the company for like 70 years, we know what it really means when the young coworker in her 20s, the young secretary in her 20s, randomly gets flowers from her boyfriend when there's no holiday, no anniversary, no birthday. Them's the I cheated flowers. Them's the I just got caught doing some shit I absolutely should not have, and now I'm in my overcompensating era flowers. Those of us who know exactly what's going on here. Okay, this is not... Y'all don't think there's any correlation and perhaps causation between our brother in Christ being caught almost literally with his pants down with his best friend and suddenly being very, very, very nice to his fiance, unlike he ever has before? It's not looking good to me, y'all. It's not giving, I actually am starting to feel bad about what I did. Because you know what speaks volumes more than sex and superficial gifts and temporary confidence boosting is an acknowledgement of what went wrong. Maybe an apology for gaslighting me into thinking that what you were doing was perfectly normal. Yeah, they're gonna end up staying together, and I can see this going so many different ways. Either he will continue this like love affair with Tyler and just be able to somehow keep getting away with it because she is so gullible, or he'll eventually like soft launch actually being gay and then like slow convert her into a very toxic open marriage situation. Then, this is what I totally can see happening from this guy. Then, she will eventually meet someone that she leaves him for, and he will freak the fuck out about it. My personal guess.